Okay, so I'm going to um, sew a, trying to see if it's recording. It is. Okay. I'm going to sew a mask, and I hope you can see it from this angle. I cut a strip of fabric that is 7.5 inches, and of course we're going to bunch up, but this way you can see what really happens. 7.5 inches by 15 inches. And then I am top stitching on both ends of the, see here's of the short ends. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to put a little, about this much. Is that like maybe 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch? I'm going to fold it down, and I am making an opening in the center about 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to insert a pipe cleaner. So I sew like halfway through, I raise my needle, and then sew the rest. And this is going to be, and of course I run out of bottom thread, but that's what happens. I have sewed too many of these today, so I have a, what do you call it, a drop-in bobbin, which I like that better than the side ones. I have, this is a Pfaff machine. My other Pfaff has the other kind. So I sewed that whole thing with no bobbin thread, and I'm not worried too much about snipping my threads and at this point. So now I'm going to sew the one part down for the pipe cleaner. And the pipe cleaner, and I don't know if you can hear while I'm sewing, try to talk about it, or when I take a break here. The pipe cleaner option is, of course, optional, but see there's a little opening right there where at your nose you can put a pipe cleaner or some sort of little wire so that it contours around your nose. So then I folded this bottom part up, and I'm buttoning it right up to the edge of where I sewed it. And on this one, this is going to be an opening for, and this fabric is really thin. Probably not the best fabric to demonstrate, but it does show you, the trials and tribulations. This needle has a automatic threader, but it doesn't work anymore. So I am now the automatic threader. A little spit shine. Well, I'm not getting a real clean oil. Hogwash. Not getting a real clean through. But so this opening is for a another pocket, and I'm going to sew about 1.5 inches from both ends. So and see, normally I'm making like 20 of these at a time, so I'm not even cutting the thread that much. I just go from one to the other. But so I sewed from here to about here, and now I'm going to skip over and sew from about here to here. And this way, this opening in here, and see how it's butted right up against there. This opening is for you to put a, if you don't have anything else, you could put a paper towel. You could put if a really good thing to put if you don't have anything is a HEPA vacuum cleaner bag. You could cut that up and put that. Okay, so see here, you see this little pocket? That's where you can put your HEPA filter, another mask, because they say these fabric masks aren't that great, but the great part about it is that you can insert if you make it like this. So at this stage then, I'm going to put 3 pleats And I'll show you another one that's in a different process. Put 3 pleats in it. Okay, and what I do is I just fold it down. And these do not have to be precise. If you're a precise person, by all means, measure, measure, measure. But I'm not. I just put a pin, and I put a pin, well, a little, further back so I can sew here without having to move my pins. And what I found is I pin both sides so that they're relatively even. And then I go down to the next, so they're relatively even. And then I go down to the next pleat. And my mother taught me to sew. At about 9 years of age, I started making my own clothes and stuff. And my mother taught me a bunch of shortcuts. So a lot of people at this stage, and feel free, if you need to, that's fine. A lot of people at this time would tack down these pleats, but I do not. And that's why I'm pinning them back. So I have them pinned on this side and pinned on this side. And then I'm going to put, now this is, good question. It is, let me measure it real quick. This one is about 5 by 4. And I make it bigger. And I might need to cut it down. Sorry about that. Our thing went cattywampus because and if I can, I might edit that part out. Well, so I'm going to lay this, and on this one, this is the back side where I've sewed everything, sewed the pocket. So I'm going to lay this face down on the back side so that the next step I will do to the front side. And this machine, I've had quieter machines. So see, I've just laid it that way so that when I turn it, and I can remove those pins. And that wasn't perfect. But like I say, I don't know if that's imperfect enough. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of ripping, but yeah, this machine's a little bit louder than some of the other ones I've owned. And there's not much stitch into this, so if you need to rip a seam out just so it doesn't look too cattywampus. Like I say, I'm not real picky about this, but I do want the pleats to halfway match, and I don't know what happened to this one, how we did this. So I'm gonna put this one up a little bit, well, a little bit higher. I'm gonna stitch up further. It never fails. If something's going to go wrong, it's going to be while you're filming. But, so this one, yeah, we just wanted to make it a little bit more even. And the, the pattern I got was, I combined several patterns off the internet, and I've made some tweaks to it. But it said that this portion from here to here, just your face mask, once it's pleated, should be approximately 3.5 inches. At this stage, I do not measure it because I've done so many of them that I really don't care. or need to. But like I say, occasionally I have to rip something out. And so then let's see how it looks. So at this stage, you have your two ends. And I've seen a lot of them where they're just, turning this part under and sewing them like this, which saves a lot of fabric. But I like the look of the band. And this next step, I'm going to turn this side in. I'll show you that on camera, hopefully. I'm going to fold this over, turn this side in, turn this side in, and then turn this side in. And this is where I do pin it because I don't have enough hands. Turn this side in and pin it. And if we had a piece of elastic cut, this is where we would do it. We are going to take, and this on this part, it depends on how big your head is. Apparently, I've discovered that I have a relatively big head because I made one for my nurse neighbor and it was too big. So I took this is underwear elastic. I took 2 strips of elastic, anywhere from 9 to 10 inches is what I found works. I'm going to switch my machine to a zigzag stitch, and I'm just going to take the elastic, I'm going to loop it, and I'm going to sew right here. Just a zigzag. And the first instructions for this one is you're supposed to sew the little opening on the band opening, and then you take a safety pin, and then I'm going to sew both of them. So I'm going to sew this other one. You take the safety pin and pull it through. But like I say, I like doing the shortcuts, especially when you're doing a bunch of them. So if I sew it together in a loop, see, and then you would sew this after you threaded it through, and then you would pull it through, which I think is a pain. So I'm not doing it. I am going to, unless I forget to do this step, which I've done a time or two, and then you do the safety pin and you loop it. Okay, so at this stage, I have this part, and I've turned this edge over, pinned it, turned this edge over, pinned it. I cut this off a little bit. Now I'm going to loop the elastic over, and like I say, if it's easier for you not to do it this way, I'm going to put the end that I sewed here, and now I'm simply going to fold this part down, and then fold it down again to where, oops, I'm dropping you again. Fold it down, and then I'm just going to sew. And sometimes you finagle it a little bit, but I just like that it avoids a step. You want to be careful that you are not sewing the elastic down, but if you did, and of course I'm still in zigzag, you could zigzag it if you want, but and I'm bad, instead of back stitching, usually I just hold the fabric a little bit where it kind of sews in one place rather than back stitch. And sometimes when I'm doing, like the other day I did 30 of them, and so I would do the sewing part, and then I'd go sit in front of the TV and do the pinning part, and then I'd come back and do the sewing part. But then I get tired of it. And then Like yesterday I had 20 of them. I think, or 25. See? So that end's really cute. This is the inside with the pocket. I just have to do this other end. And then we are ready. So again, I turn this, fold this in. I fold this other side in. Seeing how this is kind of long. So you could measure it better to where it's not long. But I kind of like the option of having a little bit longer. And just dropped a pin. I'm trying to, oops, I caught it. Good job. Good job. And this part, like I say, I do pin it because I just can't hold it that good. When I put the elastic in, I don't pin the elastic or anything down unless I'm sitting in front of the TV. So I loop the elastic. I'm going to turn this part down, turn it down again. So it is, I'm just going to hold it. I'm doing it this way. You're sewing on the front to where, so the back will still look nice, but this way the front looks the nicest. And this time I am going to back stitch just a little bit, just because. Change my mind. And then I'm done. And then at this point I think I still have that pin in there somewhere. Yes, I do. At this point I would pretty it up. I am. But see, you'd be able to open it up when you put it on. At this point, you know, I'll snip the threads and pretty it up. But see, there you have a good mask. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like my page, give me suggestions, let me know. I do snip the threads, you know, where I skipped the spot. You have to go back and snip all these threads. Click the subscribe button. I do a lot of things on this channel. I was for a lot of years a professional dog trainer. I trained service dogs. So I have some of those videos, lots of those videos out there. And not when I was doing it professionally, because that was before the internet, a lot of it. But I have some videos where I've taken other people's dogs. This channel has turned a lot into a cross-stitch channel. I have some quilting videos, which I'm going to start doing a whole lot more of. But I really appreciate you joining me. Let me make sure. Okay, so the dimensions of elastic between 9 and 10 inches. For whether it's male or female, big head, little head. The middle part is 15 inches by 7.5 to 8 inches, depending. The little strips are like 5 by 4. You could get by probably 4 by 3, but then you have to be a little bit more precise. And that's it. So it's pretty basic. I would say, how long is this video? 18 minutes, and I had some snafus. So I say when you get really going, about 12 minutes to make one if it's already cut. I would say 20 minutes if you have to cut them out. But thanks for joining. Bye.